Just went to my house and picked up my cold air intake because it got dropped off today by the most amazing people in the world, UPS. I gotta finish one thing of homework and then I can put it in. Can't wait. Cold air intakes. Alright, we're taking my cold air intake. It's a box inside of a box. Super. Oh, that's heavy. Alright, so far first impression, looks pretty good. Comes with a pretty nice solid piece of tubing. The only bad thing about so far is that all the bolts, the washers, and the nuts were not in the package. They were just thrown in the bag. And all the clips aren't numbered like all the clamps. Besides, on them they're all numbered, but they're not on up to the same. But yeah, everything was just thrown in there. But yeah, it comes with 2 big washers, and then I think these are called like couplers. It comes with 2, one that's a little bigger on one side and a little small on the other side for your throttle body, and the other one just to connect the two. The piping, it's really light. It looks good for paying $60. The only bad thing is there's like little bubbles on the welds, and then on the inside, like on this hose right here, on the inside, there's a piece of metal shaving that's sitting up. So I gotta take that off before I put it on, so that way it didn't get sucked into the motor. And then other than that, this piece looks really good. This hose you'd think goes to something, but it really doesn't, obviously, because there's no hole drilled out for it. Same with this one. Same thing. Another hose right here, but it's not drilled out. So this is the spec detuning cold air intake. That's all the pipe and all the hardware stuff, and there's the filter. Nice big filter. Got your other hose clamp on there. It looks pretty decent. Well, for $60 you wouldn't expect it to be like the best filter. So I'll probably run this for a little while and eventually get a new one. For $60 you can't really beat this. So yeah, it's a 2005 Scion TC, spec detuning, cold air intake. Let's get it. Alright, so this is my 2005 Scion TC. Today I'm putting a cold air intake on. It's a spec detuning one. I don't think anybody's used it yet, so let's see how it works. Alright, so you want to take off your negative terminal first because you don't want to short out anything. Sometimes, I guess people say, is when you take off like your sensors or anything, you might short something out, or your computer might read something. So yeah, you want to do that before you disconnect your mass airflow sensor. Next, you want to unclip your air filter. Next, there's 3 bolts inside here. You want to take all these off. Whole box just comes out. Make sure there's nothing. I already had mine unclipped. There's a hose that sits right like your wires that you can connect to this. So yeah, just take that out. Make sure you get all your other wires disconnected from this hose. And you want to remove this. Okay, so you gotta get in there and take this hose clamp off. Sorry, I don't have the right pliers, so I'm using some of these needle nose pliers. You just left it. Now you gotta get your big hose, your coupler to the smaller one. Alright, so you get your big side on. You get your little side. You gotta get your hose clamp first. Put it on. You get your hose clamp. Clamp it on your hose. Hold on, let me make sure it's gonna be good in a nice reachable spot. Alright, so now you gotta take out your mass airflow sensor. You wanna be gentle with this because it's very fragile and it will break. So now, I guess these already has screws. So, it's your airflow sensor. Wiggle it in there. Get your hose clamp on there nice and good. Make sure it's where you can hold it, like clamp onto the hose and the throttle body so it doesn't fall off when you hit bumps or anything. Alright, so now you gotta get your jacket. Since my car is about on the floor, gotta get in there. Leave the wheel still on the ground a little bit so that way I can take off my lugs. Alright, so you gotta take this off because my clip's already broke since my car is about 3 inches too low. So yeah, you gotta get this off. There's 2 bolts down here. Okay, well that already fell out. Okay, so here's the other part of your stock little intake. Alright, so put the coupler on. That. And put it in. Go down here. Just to make your life a little bit simple, go ahead and tighten your hose clamps up just a little bit. So that way when you go to tighten them on the hose, they're already ready to go. Slip it on, like so. Okay, so get your other clamp. Slip this in there. We're good. And make sure it's lined up good down there. Make it to a nice spot where you can tighten it real easy. Alright, now that we got up here taken care of, so all we have left is to put the mass airflow sensor, plug it back in, connect all your hoses, and now let's go back downstairs. Alright, so now you just gotta snug this clamp on there so it doesn't slip off. Alright, just wipe this out, get out all the dirt and whatever in case stuff got on there, and just slip it right on. Alright, now you just gotta get your stuff in.
While my buddy is working under the car, I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna plug in the sensor over here, and then I'm done. And then he can finish it himself. He can call me if it work or not. I hope I help you a lot, man.
Very thankful for all the help that my good friend had helped me with, and we're just about done. And now just double check everything, make sure you got everything all tight. Make sure your screws are in. All that. And then, yeah.
How come you double checking my work? You didn't like how I did it? What's wrong?
Just making sure it's in.
It was in, man. It's your ties, man.
Alright. So just put this hose on. Put zip ties because I don't have any hose clamps. So yeah, now last thing you gotta do is connect your battery. Make sure it's on all the way and tighten it up.
But I don't think we get full Social Security until 60.
outside, dude.
It runs. Alright, since I put that on, my idle is way higher. And before it was sitting at like 500 RPMs, now it's at just about 950. Perfect. And there it is. Spec D tuning, cold air intake. Wheel off the ground where it moves. And you just take out all your bolts. Alright, so they're already off.
Nice butt.
Dial.
All motor. No exhaust.